Another one of Brian Cashman's wonderful decisions over the years. And now, years later, Sonny Gray ends up on our rival Boston Red Sox. Yes, the Cardinals traded Sonny Gray to the Red Sox for a Red Sox number 5 overall prospect, right-handed pitcher Brandon Clark, and right-handed pitcher Richard Fitz, and a player to be named later with cash considerations. On his way over to Boston, Gray took shots at his now rival and former team, the Yankees, saying he never wanted to be traded there, and they are an organization that are easy to hate. Yankees fans mostly remember Gray as being an absolute disaster in the Bronx and are excited to go see him play, a place where he apparently had even worse numbers in his career, Fenway Park, than he did at Yankee Stadium. So, in my opinion, probably the best example, Sonny Gray, is a guy who couldn't handle the big media market of New York. Well,
I don't think it's going to be a whole lot different. I don't think that's going to be a whole lot different in Boston. I mean, New York, Boston, and Philadelphia, you got to perform, or it gets tough really fast. I mean, St. Louis, this was the first time I've ever seen the attendance drop like it did, and you go there and there's 17,000 announced, and it looked like there were 5,000 in the ballpark. But if you played there, you never got booed until this year. You started to see that. But you're talking about if you think you're going to Boston and it's going to be a whole lot less than New York, I don't know. What do you think, Java? A lot of pressure to play in Boston.
Yeah, I don't know kind of what he was thinking, to be honest with you, because it's funny how he's going to say this to try to get on the good side of Red Sox fans, because now it's like, okay, you're part of this rivalry, even though, you know, you've only played for the Yankees, so on and so forth, right? But if you go back and read some of what he said in like 2017 and even later, it's, you know, everybody dreams of playing for the Yankees, blah, blah. Now he's talking out of the other side of his mouth, which doesn't do him any good, because now what's going to happen is he can't win for losing no matter what he does, because unless he goes out and wins a Cy Young and they win a World Series, he's going to be a fail, because he didn't live up to the shit talking that he did to the Yankees fans. He's not going to live up to Boston fans. And if he doesn't beat New York to add on top of it, this dude might as well crawl in a hole and never come out of Nashville where he lives.
He just created the ultimate blackboard material, didn't he?
100%.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Let me ask Sonny Gray one question. Johnny Damon played for the Yankees for a very long time, and he also played for the Red Sox. Johnny Damon, for years, took shots at the Red Sox organization that they don't know how to treat players. And then he came to the Yankees and he said the Yankees treat their players like they're golden, like they're five-star restaurants. Everywhere they go is five-star. They treat their players with so much respect. And now this guy, because Sonny Gray couldn't get along with the fans, couldn't pitch a lick in New York, he's going to take shots at the fans and take shots at the Yankees organization. You know what I would say to that? Go ask all the former Red Sox that became Yankees how the Yankees treated them. Because every single one of them that I've heard through the past, leaving the Red Sox and came to the Yankees, including Wade Boggs, who came to the Yankees in '96 to win a World Series, said the Yankees organization is so classy. It's one of the classiest organizations I've ever been around. And he was a Red Sox his whole career. So, Sonny, stop bitching. All right? That's all I'm going to say. All you do is bitch. And you shouldn't be called Sonny anymore. You should be called Manly, because you don't have a man hair in your pants, because you can't say anything right at any view to a Yankee fan. You're a failure with the Yankees, and you're going to be a failure with the Red Sox.
You know, all he had to do, honestly, like, and the thing that you learn with these bigger markets or any market, if he would have came out and said, yeah, you know what, because they asked him about the Yankee-Red Sox rivalry, right? Could have looked good in so many eyes. Talk about, I'm really looking forward to being part of this rivalry. It's a great thing for baseball and sports in general. And you know what? I didn't cut it in New York. I want to go out and be better than I was in New York and Boston. They would have he would have been perfect, because he would have killed him with kindness on the New York side, because you know what? He admitted he sucked. Sorry. All right. At least whatever. We can't really bag somebody. It's like when you talk about Charlie Sheen. He said he was doing 8-gram rocks with hookers. You can't talk any worse crap about him, because he just told you what it is. So if he goes and says, hey, I'm terrible. Sorry. I want to be better for this rivalry. Boom. Like, he would have literally he could have gotten away with a couple of hiccups and even lose to the Yankees and then be like, see, you stink, but Boston been like, okay, he hit a guy or something. Like, there's ways he could have gone about this to look good in both eyes. Sure.
He set himself up for failure, right? Before he even goes to throw one pitch.
Randy Johnson won 17 games 2 years in a row, but he dropped a cameraman and nobody cared what he did.
And now he's become one.
As long as she's using dude wipes and taking care of my teeth, I'm good.
So, Charlie, I do have to mention this. This is an origin story. So, 3 years before we ever first had you on the show, I had my trial show, essentially, at the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Errol and two other guys, and they were talking about that. Guys, obviously, it was July 21st, so it was right around the MLB trade deadline. And I forget, it was Matty Caps and it was somebody else that really wanted Sonny Gray on the Yankees. And I was,
you know what I said?
I remember that. I was very skeptical of it because he was a softer throwing, like not high velocity and not a high strikeout rate pitcher at that time. I was saying they should have tried to trade for Verlander.
Do you remember the line I used for him?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
Sonny is a dummy. That's what I said during the show. And that was the line I used, and I remember it like it was yesterday. You go back and you remember what I said. I did not want Sonny Gray. I did not think he was going to work out here. He's small. He throws a lot of off-speed pitches, and it wasn't going to work out in Yankee Stadium. And by the way, he gives up a lot of pop-ups.
Yeah, and I was skeptical of the same thing at the time, too. Now, he was a good postseason pitcher, which is something that the Yankees needed for a while because outside of Tanaka, they really didn't have that second postseason pitcher. And he actually was pretty good with the A's, but I was worried about that when he first got traded over there to the Yankees, and I had a feeling it wasn't going to last over there. And at the time, I was like, okay, it's going to be a small parks issue. He goes to Cincinnati, and he actually pitches well. So I'm like, no, maybe it was a market issue. And like you both, Charlie and Jabba, were discussing, so like how much of those could you be able to handle in a super harsh media market? And now you go to Boston too. Yes, you might have your chip on your shoulder getting to play against the Yankees and the other AL East teams, but again, Fenway Park is no factor to small ballparks either.
The rah-rah shish kumbah.
All right, let's move on. We got another one revolving around the Yankees. This one, I actually saw Mr. Jabba Chamberlain tweeting about this while it was happening in real time. Hal Steinbrenner
I don't care if Jabba tweets either.
That it would be pretty good for the Yankees to save some money this year. That, it's not just because the report says that, just like we said with Odell, $100 million goes real quick on Monday. Oh, Hal said that $700 million revenue that the Yankees are getting, there's a lot of costs in overhead that we don't really get it as fans. There's a lot that has to go into it before. So, the Yankees need to find a way to save some money for Hal's benefit. Mike Francesca, as we know, took lots of shots at Hal for this and said that he had the Dodgers make the Yankees look like an 8-ball organization. George would have never allowed the Dodgers to do this. I can't believe the Yankees are saying they're not making a profit. I mean, it's not looking the way that we want.
When you hear it come out that so many teams in baseball are not turning a profit, I mean, I watched this year commissioner go around to each team and talk to them about how trying to set the table for the labor negotiations and tell players, this continues, only a few players are going to make big money and the rest of you are going to be stuck around the minimum. I mean, I've heard that speech in sports for how many decades now, and you look at every sport, even with the salary cap, the money keeps going up and TV revenue keeps getting bigger and bigger. So at the same time that he's saying this to the players, he comes out of these meetings and talks to reporters, and you have all these new TV deals coming in that he's setting up now to run through 28 before they put it all up for auction, including streaming package to involve as many teams as possible, and then say that attendance on average of baseball is better than it's ever been. So if you're a player, you're hearing two different stories coming from, each side of his mouth. Unless, you look back, my previous life, I worked in the NBA for 11 years. The NBA had the boom after the salary cap, and they did that to save the league. But the only way it worked with the union is they opened the books and said, we're going to give you 51% of everything that we make, and you're going to be able to see it. The baseball owners who want a salary cap, they're never going to open the books and show you all the money that they're making that's outside of attendance and all these other deals. And who knows what is involved with these betting companies that are doing all this advertising. And if we ever go there,
that's Emmanuel Clase.
The worst thing that's ever happened to sports and athletes, because all I can say is, what did they think was going to happen?
I will say this. I like Mike Francesca. Everybody knows he's a guy that I look up to when it comes to radio, and I love that he attacked Hal Steinbrenner. But the fact here is the Yankees are one of the richest teams in all of professional baseball. And Francesca's
Yankees
right.
and Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yeah, and Francesca,
Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys.
and they sell more. I buy more Yankee hats than anybody does. So I know I put a lot of money in the Yankees' pockets. So if I'm doing it, I know there's other fans doing the same thing. I've got a million different hats in different colors for the New York Yankees. I absolutely believe that Hal Steinbrenner is making excuses. I don't like to defer money. I think baseball needs to step in and do something about it. But nevertheless, I think he's absolutely right. The Yankees should be going out there and spending mucho dinero. Even though they're one of the top 5 teams in baseball, they were the number 1 team in baseball when it comes to salaries, and now they fall into 3rd or 4th. That, to me, is a problem. And when the Yankees are getting outbidded for Juan Soto, even though I didn't want Juan Soto, I put it on paper. I did not want to keep Juan Soto. I just believe that it was embarrassing watching the Mets win a bidding contest for Juan Soto. It was embarrassing. And the Yankees, and he's right, Francesca's right, George Steinbrenner would have never let that happen.
No way. No way he would have let that happen.
Never.
Well, he probably would not have gone through the season without making a change in the dugout either.
Yeah, he would have gone to a lot more extreme measures. And you're talking about, like, you were mentioning Charlie, too. Like, some of these owners that aren't going to change their ways just based on that, too. Like, George Steinbrenner was still going to commit to his way, no matter what, if he was still there. Hal Steinbrenner is still going to, I'm not going to say, like, spend, like the Brewers do or anything like that. But, like,
you know, the biggest problem they have in the game when they talk about, we need a salary cap because of competitive balance. Okay, well, all these teams taking revenue sharing, there's nothing that forces them, although there was a penalty involved, like for the Marlins and the Pirates at some point, they had to add more money to payroll to avoid a penalty.
I remember that.
But most of the time, we don't know if this revenue sharing that's going to these smaller market teams is going immediately into the major league payroll. And, you know, their way around that is to just add more teams to be allowed to get into the playoffs. And that way, you know, those teams that don't spend go, you know what, if we have a lucky year, we add a few pieces and we're hanging around 500 in July, we're in the wild card hunt here and we have a shot. And then maybe we get in and maybe we get lucky and get deep in the tournament. So but to me, and I love to hear, like, with Jabba being an ex-player with this, the difference, salary and how much you spend, even though the Dodgers are back-to-back, is no guarantee that you're going to be healthy enough to get through the postseason and win.
Pass liquor.
But what it does do is sell out your ballpark during the regular season. And that's why they have all that money. And the teams that – look at San Diego. If you go back 15 years, they didn't have big crowds coming to Petco Park. Now you added superstars to that team, and that's one of the best atmospheres in baseball. It's amazing to go watch a Padres game there. It doesn't matter who they're playing. It's just a tremendous atmosphere, and the ballpark is sold out every night. And that's why they have the money to spend and give these big contracts. But that's what fills the seats. People are not going to go watch a team that doesn't have any star players on a cold night in April or September unless they're in contention and have a chance to win.
Yeah, I think, and they go hand in hand because they spend the money to have those guys with jersey sales, with all the other stuff, to get people in the seats. But then why the TV deals keep coming is because now it's like, okay, well, if they're not watching here, they're watching it somewhere else, and they're gonna buy whatever package or whatever it is to be able to make sure that they watch their favorite player. They could live all the way across the country and then do that, but then they follow them no matter what. If you switch teams, some don't, whatever. But I think it goes hand in hand. And it was always funny, too, because it's like once the playoffs start, obviously you go into playoff shares, you go into all this. Well, how much money is actually really going into the pocket? I know you travel with both accountants, but I know it's ticket sales, but then it's like, okay, concessions and all the other stuff and what goes with that. And the ticket prices from the stuff that you don't sell, because then where do they go? It's all interesting, but you're 100% right, because what are they doing is putting names in seats, and they can pay this money now because of all these extra things that they did. And you see why other teams aren't making a bunch of money, even though they have a buttload of money, is because they don't have any other team they want to watch. So if you don't want to watch them, then what's it matter? Like, you're not going to get in anyways. It was probably 10 years ago when the Marlins were getting in trouble, and then they signed Jose Reyes and Burley in the same year, and they thought they were going to win. Obviously that didn't happen.
You mentioned
owning a baseball team is being part of a big, exclusive club, and I think for some it's just to be in the club, and that's good enough. And I don't feel like when I watch some franchises that they put themselves in a position to win and to succeed both on and off the field, because a team like the Padres maybe hasn't won a World Series, but now still, in terms of what they do to be competitive every year and put people in the park, they're in the elite. They're in the top 3 or 4 in baseball now.
I want to say something. Not Fish. Jabba, you brought up accountants and where the money is going. That reminds me of somebody that played for the Dodgers. Somebody that had 5 or 6 accountants and didn't know where $20-something million was going. And Jabba was one of very few people that came out and said, well, we don't know what he did. So if we don't know what he did, we can't blame him for it. I'm going to tell you, Jabba.
Unless proven guilty.
Okay. He's guilty. That's all I'm going to say. Baseball was
by who? By whose standards? Who's he guilty? At yours?
At everybody's standard that's been on this show, ex-baseball players, but you. You're the only one that thinks that he knew nothing about this, and he should be absolutely let go and let it flow. You're the only one that's been on this show that has come out and said that he knew nothing about it.
If you're standing by yourself, even if you're standing, doesn't matter.
Interesting. Well, maybe we'll find out more about that case next time.
I doubt it.
No, you won't.
I doubt it.
John was going to be hired as the guy to cover all of it up.
I doubt it.